Aloha, this is Angelina and we're back at it again with another episode. So in this episode I'm going to be talking about what is depression. So what is depression? Our bodies have a really complex system, but I'm gonna speak it to you in English. So it responds to us with thoughts and how we act and how we feel and what we do in this cycle. So in this scenario that I'm about to put in is so I'm eating, just taking my time, and then someone rushes me and I accept it, like, oh, okay, I need to eat faster, and I don't want to eat my food, and then they're telling me, eat your food, like you gotta finish everything on your plate, and then I'm like, okay, but I don't actually want to, but I'm gonna do it anyway. And then in these moments, we are sending signals to our bodies. So we're sending a signal to our body saying, I can't trust you. And I've got to rush myself when I want to take my time. So these two get accumulated and stored into your body. Your cells in your body hold memory. And imagine how many memories you have of scenarios like this or in your life. So all of that just gets stored into your body, and this creates a state of fight or flight mode, which is in a state where your body is constantly not in a state of being, as in your natural state of being, but it's in a state of just like survival. So it's just like trying to like help you out here and there. And because a lot of us might not even be aware of how our body functions and whatnot, we label these as so many different things, like depression or anxiety or literally eating disorder. Like all of these things I've stated in my life videos, it's like a overall word for everything, but little do we know our bodies are just communicating to us and trying to actually help us, but we're not aware of it. And we might like criticize ourselves or our body when it's just here to help. It's just here to help us. So yeah, during time all these feelings get stored up, but I'm ignoring all of these feelings, and I'm just constantly ignoring other things that happen in my life, so I'm not actually feeling the emotion. So maybe during those moments I really wanted to cry when that person was telling me like to hurry up, and I just felt like, what do you mean? And then I just hold my emotions in and I just finish eating, and I'm just done, and then I leave. In that moment there and then, I also store that emotion inside of me. And during life and stuff, I just continue with life until I don't feel anymore, because one, I am disregarding how I feel in those moments. So the more time that goes by, the more it's going to be suppressed and the more I'm not going to feel anything. So this is what we call depression. So I'm going to say in energetic terms. So everything is like energy. Well, it is energy. It's not like energy, it is energy.
3 little birds fly past my window.
This also means that emotions are energy. So we can call it being happy, sad, excited, guilty, resentment, and the list goes on. Anyways, all of these are different states of being. So it is an energy in motion, as in I'm feeling the energy and is in motion right now. So let's just say excited. I am in a state of emotion, which is excitement. I don't even know why I'm talking like this. I was trying to like say it at the same time so you could like visualize it, but I don't even think it's working now. I'm in a state of excitement and I'm just really excited. This is the state of being that I'm in, and I'm currently in this energy because I'm holding on to it right now and I'm in it, right? So as I was just in that excitement energy, it's being played in motion. And now that I'm just back to my natural state of being, which is calm, I'm just being myself in this moment. So I'm back on this energy, motion, which is just being, right? And then I could just move to a state of being really sad, and I just really sad. And I'm in this state of being right now, right? So we have the controls, and we're able to control what state of being we want to be in. But depression is different, so it's just like all these suppressed emotions. So all the times in your life where you've been sad and you disregarded your emotions and you just said, oh, why am I crying? I shouldn't be crying. Or that's so silly, why would I even be thinking about it and like going back on that moment when it really hurt you deep inside. And it's like all these moments just like energy just trapped inside of you, and it's accumulating. It's like trying to break free, but then you're putting all these energetic walls up with your thoughts saying like, no, I don't want to go back on that moment, I don't want to feel. So you saying that and thinking those thoughts, you're just creating like a barrier within yourself or around yourself, and it's like everything in your body is like just being distorted right now, and you're not, because your body is a vehicle. It literally listens to what you want and how you want it to work with you or for you. But a lot of us are against it by like a lot of things, even like talking bad about it, saying like, why aren't you like the way that I want you to be, or why are you so fragile and stuff like that. But our bodies actually listen to us because our cells store memories. So all those memories I was just talking about, all those stories I was talking about, like eating and stuff like that would be stored in your body. And then we've got all these energetic blockages, which actually that's why we're feeling the way that we feel. When I was going through depression, I was like, I didn't want to get up, I didn't want to do anything, I didn't want to move. Yes, I didn't want to move, I didn't want to socialize, like. And then I moved to doing drugs and stuff like that because I wanted to feel something. And because we are emotional beings, we have feelings, and a lot of us just don't allow ourselves to feel, or we were taught that way. Like a lot of us have parents that obviously their first time they didn't know what to say or how to help, or even just to let us feel. So it's like all that is just emotional blockages everywhere in our body. And our body actually sends us signals, which is through anxiety. And then it later becomes depression. And I didn't realize that I was living with anxiety for so long that I thought that was me. And like later on it became into depression, but I didn't even realize that I had anxiety. I didn't even know that I had depression. I literally just like was laughing about how sad I was, didn't realizing that was a bit like toxic to myself, but because I wasn't introduced with all this stuff, I just went along with it. Our body sends us messages through anxiety, so let's talk a bit about that. When we're overthinking a lot about something, and there is like a scale on how much you're feeling it. But if you're having like a panic attack while having anxiety, that's like mixed into each other, so it's like energy is like trying to come through because of like suppressed emotions and stuff like that, but you're like shutting them off by saying like, oh my gosh, I have anxiety, like what do I do? But all you have to do is like just feel it. And so I know it's easier said than done, is like breathe it in and out, because our body's trying to regulate this energy, but we're shutting it off by not feeling it and like not allowing it to be. It sends us through maybe soreness or like tingles, and because we are sensitive beings, and like when we're younger we're sensitive, and we deny that part of ourselves. It's like we created that disconnect with our bodies and with ourselves and our intuition. And like when I used to like eat, like I would be told like you got to finish your food, so then I never knew when I was truly full. I'd be overeating, undereating, and it would just be a cycle, and I never knew how to truly just eat enough and eat how I felt. So obviously through healing and stuff like that, you're able to heal it out and come back to your intuition and know the go and how you feel. I'm going to talk a bit more about my experience. So when I was not feeling like doing anything and just so like there was no will, like do you know how there's like a will to live? Like you can't do anything without the will, which is ultimately why I was like living so unconsciously. I was living, but not really. Like I was in a cycle where I was doing all the same things all the time, and like just going with the motions. Like I didn't really have an outside the box, so I like put myself in a box, like doing the same things, thinking the same things, and just the same cycle. And I was just in that box every single day. I didn't have any thought outside of that box. So because I was in that box for so long, depending how long you are in that box for, it can become so intense to the point where you're just unconscious, you're living unconsciously, and you think that you're conscious, you might think that you are, but you're actually not. Like little things may piss you off, like a spill, a coffee spill, and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna have a bad day or something like that. And it's like thoughts like that is leading you towards like down that route, because you're becoming like the victim of your own life, when ultimately you have the control of like what state of being you want to be in. But it's not as simple. I know when you are in that deep rest, which is depression, I call it deep rest, you're in a state of rest basically, like you're not your true self. Do you know when we like get in a mood, but before that it could be like just like a quick feeling of something, like oh my gosh, like why'd you do that, or like can't believe I just did that, or can't believe that just happened. And it's like you have the option to stay in that mood or to shift. And a lot of us stay in that mood, and that mood becomes like our reality by staying in there. So mood like goes in between like a couple minutes to like hours, and then it could go on for days, weeks, months, years. And the more we hold on to it, it can become our life. And that's ultimately a part of depression as well, because we hold on to the things that kind of shatter on us in a sense, or like that's how we feel like in that moment, and then we keep holding on to that and we don't realize that we're slowly getting into depression and slowly just like making that us. And then while we hold on to all these things, we're like being disconnected still from ourselves, because we're accumulating those thoughts and then we're getting more thoughts that are like that, and then like the next day something bad happens again and then we hold on to that, and then we can be the victims of our own lives and hold on to that to make that a part of our reality, which stays in that mood. And then we're like, just like there's nothing, there's no will there, which we'd call depression as well. So there's many different ways to get to that point, which is ultimately not being aware of what's going on, aware of yourself. Depression is not as bad as we think it is, and it can get bad to like wanting to like not be here, but it's like because we hold on to that energy for so long that our mind and our thoughts are trying to save us. Like I was saying before, our body runs on a system and it's always trying to protect us. So it's like our mind and our body don't want us to be in a state of being uncomfortable, so it will say and try to warn us. And so an example could be maybe when you were little you wanted to wear something and then your parents tell you no, you can't wear that, like, or that color doesn't look good on you, and you go out today in this age, you go out, let's just say it was yellow, and then you go out and you really like this yellow shirt, but your mind's telling you like, no, don't pick it out, it's not, it just doesn't look good on you, and you're like, oh, okay. It's like that thought was from so long ago, from your parents telling you about the color yellow not being suited for you, but it's like that thought is not even yours, it's from when you're little. Your mind's trying to protect you so you don't make choices based on your past. And let's say that scenario with the yellow shirt is not that big of a deal, right? But it could be to do with your feelings, and they told you, oh, don't feel, stop crying, stop crying. So then every time you go to cry about something, it's like you're telling yourself, oh, don't cry, I don't want to seem weak, or I don't want to cry in front of people, or stuff like that. Whatever that scenario may be, it's like, so when your thoughts are saying don't cry, it's not that it's even you to begin with, because that was from your parents telling you that. It's like it's trying to protect you so you don't cry, because they think your brain thinks that there's going to be a hazard. So let's explain this further on. Let's say that you got hit as well for crying and stuff, and it's like your body, as I said, remembers these memories. So like, do you know when you get a reflex and stuff like that as well, and you're like, oh, and you got hit all the time, and then someone like goes to hug you but you think they're going to hit you, and you like have a reflex, and you're like, I don't know, let's say you do that and you go like that, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? It's like a reflex. Your body remembers how it's going to react, and because you got hit or something when you're little, it's like your body is trying to save you from that outcome of that feeling. It's trying to get you away from that feeling. So let's add this on to depression. It's like every time you stop yourself from doing that, from crying or wearing that yellow shirt, all these small instances are continually building up. So your mind is protecting you not to feel. So in that sense, if you're not growing, you're dying. So if you're not building up your cells are dying. Your mind is protecting you from feeling, but it's also making you have those thoughts of wanting to and not be here, because one, you're left with not being able to feel, and being a victim of your thoughts. So it's like you've got nowhere to go. So then you feel like you need to resort to that, because the more you have thoughts of not wanting to do things you love, it's going to go to the opposite of that, which is not being here. It's like love and hate, like the opposites. It's like living and dying. So it's like you want to feel like you don't want to be here and stuff, because you're constantly just accumulating all this energy and attracting the same thoughts and memories from the past, that it's like on a loop, like a literal movie in your head playing over and over again. It's like that alone will drive you insane. And that's how we result to healing. Ultimately, you are beautiful in every single way, and there should be nothing that stops you from knowing and believing in yourself and how awesome you are and how lovely you are and how much you bring to this world from you being alive. You being alive, there's a purpose, there's a reason why you're here. There's so much more to yourself that you don't even realize, and you're here to discover that. So yes, please reach out if you need the help, even if you want to talk to me. But that concludes the video, and I hope this has helped in any way, shape or form. Lots of love. I see you. Love and light and peace and harmony and balance, and stay true to you. Have a lovely time wherever you are.